All right, Chev, coach here, Chev here. We've got trade gods. We had to trade Bijan Robinson straight up for Garrett Wilson. It's 1 QB, 12 teams, start 9, full PPR. What do you got for this, Chev?
Well, I will be referred to as my trade god name, Chev Paulo. And I'll start this off by saying, yeah, I don't know what this seems like collusion. Because what we're doing is we're trading Chev Dur, my alter ego that does the Cornerstone Dynasty videos. We're trading my number 2 asset for Garrett Wilson, who wasn't in my top 12 assets. So I can't figure out a way to make this make sense. So I'm going to take a lightning bolt and I'm going to throw it at the owner that traded Bijan for Garrett Wilson. I don't understand. I don't understand this. No, absolutely not. Not even if there was a fire, not even if certain parts of my anatomy that are indispensable were on fire.
Well, you also have a situation. If you ever watched the Daddy movie, what was it? Adam Sandler. What's it called?
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. You watch Big Daddy, and he's in the aisle, and he throws the can down, and he says, "Hey, Microsoft is down 3%. This is just a tough scene. Like, this is just a tough trade, a very bad situation." Garrett Wilson. The only scenario where I would like this trade is if I am not a contender and I'm sending away Bijan Robinson, and then you have Garrett Wilson. You got to get plus here. So this is like a car crash bad. You want Bijan Robinson in this instance. Garrett Wilson last year, wide receiver 10. The metrics are there for him to break out even more, be a hammer wide receiver, but you got to come with a little bit more. I'm talking like Justin Jefferson in that tier with Bijan Robinson. This is a 1-for-1 trade. You got to come correct with a lot more on Bijan Robinson. Now, Chev, do you feel like Bijan Robinson is going to be a hammer running back this year and help you win your league?
Bijan is my RB1 for this year in all formats.
So there it is. Yes. And you drafted him in a startup, correct?
In several startups, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Alex just took over a team of mine where I drafted Bijan as the 2023 101. So, yes, he is my RB1 in all formats. He's my pick right now to do something special this year.
So, question, Chev, what do we need to add to the Garrett Wilson side? Because we know Bijan for Garrett Wilson, hey, at Trade Gods, we throw the bolt down. We want the Bijan side. But tell us, what can I add? What should somebody who's rebuilding get if they're sending away Bijan Robinson and they want to repair their team heading into 2026?
First things first, if you were rebuilding, that Bijan should be more firm of a part of your plans than Garrett Wilson should be. That's first. But if you had to do it, if somebody came to you and they were like, "Hey, man, the Yakuza said that they were going to cut all of my fingers and toes off if I don't trade Bijan Robinson for Garrett Wilson," then I will add something like, okay, but I can add something to the trade to make it more palatable. Yep. I would say, a first that is probably 106 or earlier.
Okay, you get a 106 or earlier and Garrett Wilson. That sweetens a pot. Again, we got to pry it from your cold, dead hands. It would just be a situation where you think you're drinking gasoline, and as Cat Williams would say, "Yo, what is this, unleaded?" It's going to be very tough and to make this palatable. 1-for-1, this person's getting ripped off the Bijan side, whether it's a contender or somebody who's selling. Like you said, if somebody's selling, you really wouldn't want to do that because you see, it sounds like Chev, Bijan as, hey, Big Daddy, 5-year plan. Bijan is part of that 5-year plan, correct, for the turnaround?
1,000%. Yes. I mean, we've already seen him. We've seen him break out. He handled 370 touches last year, and there's no competition. He caught 60 passes. Like, what else do you want? And we're much more sure about his situation in Atlanta with Captain Durag and Drake London than we are Garrett Wilson with his college teammate Justin Fields and an unproven offensive coordinator. And he's in a contract year. So, yes, all the way around. Lightning bolts, 3 lightning bolts for the owner that got Bijan Robinson here.
So the finality on it all is if you were just a team that was just stripped down completely and you had to get rid of Bijan because that's all you had, sure. But if you have options on your team, Chev is suggesting, and I agree with him, you want to ride Bijan Robinson through the ebbs and flows on that Big Daddy 5-year plan. We got another trade. Marvin Harrison straight up 1-for-1 for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, wide receiver 30. JSN, the wide receiver 9, caught 100 passes. Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 60s. What's going to happen this year? This is another dent in the Microsoft that you threw the can. It's a 3% dip on Marvin Harrison Jr. You really loved Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. Well, here's that dip. How bad do you want Marvin Harrison Jr. when he's a now depressed asset off of 1 year? And the glow up came in for JSN. What do you got on that, Chev?
I mean, so I'm still gonna go Marv here. All right. I'm coming down from Tradeopolis, the Mount Tradeopolis. And I've come down and I saw some positive things from Marvin Harrison Jr. The problem is we saw some excellent things from JSN. Now, JSN ran the most routes from the slot. Ran the most routes and had the most snaps in the slot in 2024. But Marvin Harrison was running the big boy routes. Drew Petzing didn't do him any favors whatsoever. And that resulted in 885 and 7. And I mean, we've got everything there for him to be a prototypical X receiver. Sometimes it just doesn't hit as early as we would like for it to. I'm still a big believer in Marvin Harrison Jr. He's my wide receiver. He's my wide receiver 10 in Dynasty rankings. And he was my number 10 cornerstone Dynasty asset. JSN didn't make that list. So give me Marvin Harrison Jr., the range of outcomes. If you decided to move him into the slot, if you decided to move him around the formation, just give him easy targets. There's a path for him to get to wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, maybe even wide receiver. Like if he takes a step forward, which we're not assuming that he's a finished product, he could get to that elite upper crust tier that Malik Neighbors is in. Nobody believes that's out of the range of outcomes, whereas we would hope for JSN to take another step forward. 130 targets, we're looking for him to volume his way. 150, 160 targets. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. just has a little bit higher ceiling, and he's slightly younger. I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison here.
So you're thinking that the unrealized air yards for Marvin Harrison Jr. get realized in 2025. Any issue, let's say they bring in Emeka Egbuka, who is a JSN archetype, or a Luther Burden to scheme fit with Marvin Harrison Jr., complement wide receiver 1 on that team, Trey McBride. Does that throw a wrench into it at all for you, or does that enhance Marvin Harrison Jr. for you in 2025?
That would enhance it for me. Because of the fact that Emeka Egbuka is already used to occupying the areas of the field where Marvin Harrison Jr. is not. That would enhance it for me because of, I like that point right there. We might have already seen JSN's best season, 130 catches, 100 targets. 130 targets, 100 catches, and 1,100 yards or whatever it was. So we might have already seen his best season. I mean, he gets an obvious downgrade. I mean, people, let's be real here. Sam Darnold's not better than Geno Smith. That's a different discussion for a different day. But what I'm going to say here is, again, there's more paths for Marvin Harrison Jr. to ascend than there are for JSN to ascend, and a much steeper and more precipitous ascent into fantasy dominance. So I don't care if they add Luther Burden. That's even better because Luther Burden can dominate in the short areas of the field. Emeka Egbuka will separate and probably play, a power slot, big slot role, which then is going to take coverage away from Marvin Harrison Jr. to where he's getting the one-on-ones. He got a lot of those big boy outside X receiver routes, and he just didn't. They're 50-50 balls for a reason. Yes. And he came up on the wrong side of the coin. So if we flip a coin 5 times, just because it only hits heads once doesn't mean the next 5 times it's going to hit heads once again. So if he comes up with those catches, we're having a totally different conversation. He's more than capable. We've seen that on his film for years now, that he can win those 50-50 balls. So yes, I will. If they add another weapon, which there have been a few mocks where they added Matthew Golden and they've added a Luther Burden, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So yes, that's great for what we want here.
So I think what I'm hearing, Chev, is that you are bought in on Kyler Murray in 2025. If that's going to be the case and there's going to be more connections, you see the bounce back happening for Kyler Murray.
There must be some sort of echo that doesn't sound like me in the Tradeopolis, the mountain of Tradeopolis, because that's not what I said. But it's hard not to be in on Kyler Murray if he has Namika Ibuka, Luther Burden, Trey McBride. You know, it's hard not to be. But I mean, he was QB9, but that just feels like a total disappointment because the ceiling is QB3.
Absolutely. And law of large numbers, if you look at the averages, you would think that Kyler could go back to that top 5 status. A disappointment last year, as you said, because Kyler Murray did not hit that mark. Hopefully there'll be touchdown regression for McBride. Same for Marvin Harrison Jr. And then, of course, enhancing the weapons. So it sounds like you're all on team Marvin Harrison. I'm just going to go on the other side, go with JSN. He's a printing press. It's a PPR machine. I like what he did. I actually contend that next year, JSN is going to have more routes that are beyond just a slot. He'll line up out wide. And Cooper Kupp, people think it's a redundant role, but I just see the route tree expanding for JSN. I agree with you on the Sam Darnold thing, but I just need him to chuck the ball in those low dot area passes to JSN and a little bit more over the top this year. But I am with you on Marvin Harrison Jr. improving those unrealized air yards. And again, it's crazy. It's like the Godfather meme. I thought I was out. They pulled me back in. I think I'm a sick individual, and I'm going to be all the way back in on the Arizona Cardinals in our startup with D-Gens, Jagger, who are some other players, people in there that we had.
Alex, Bradley.
Right. Shout out to Alex. I went with Kyler Murray as my second quarterback. I have full faith in him. So we like Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2025. I'm going to go JSN on here, and Chev God is going to go to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Chev Paulo. It's a word. It's
that's right. I got to get it right. Chev Door, legendary ball knower. Here we have Chev. This, to me, all sets up the Superflex 12 team start 9, half PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, a 25-101, which let's just call it Ashton Janty, and the 201 for Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and the 25-108. This trade poll just ran results. It was 80-20 essentially. And we've talked about if you're not taking him at 1, you're trading out. So to me, this is the ideal haul. If you're going to trade off of Janty and get a haul, this has got to be it. The machinations of this trade, Chev, can you break it down?
Well, I mean, this is someone who's clearly comfortable with Breece as a cornerstone piece of their offense, believing in Garrett Wilson to take that next step forward. I mean, he had his best season as a pro. And then 108, there we go. Back MHJ, no manufactured looks. You know ball, sir. One lightning bolt to you. Now, back to this trade. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, the 108, which is going to be, somewhere in the range of Amika Ibuka or Luther Burden.
Tyler Warren.
Maybe Tyler Warren. I mean, 0.5 tight end premium. Tyler Warren's probably on the front end. Yeah, closer to 105, 106. However, I think the haul here is appropriate, no pun intended, for the Breece Hall. Yeah, yep. For the Breece Hall lovers and truthers like myself. The haul here is appropriate. I mean, this is Ashton Janty and Jackson Dart for Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, 108, which also could be Shedeur Sanders. So
not Chev Paulo.
Not Chef Paulo. Not to be confused with Chef Paulo. So I think that honestly, this is an appropriate haul. And I if you're going into a rebuild and you're not sold and you want to get maximized value for the 101, which that's what this is. I mean, because we're not taking into account like what the 201 could be, because that's, free bingo space of whatever guy in the second round you want. That's usually, it's going to be most likely Jackson Dart, if he doesn't sneak into the first round. So yeah, I'm all over the Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall side. I also think that 108 slot could be a huge difference maker for your team immediately if you hit that pick. If it's Quinshon Judkins, my personal RB3, I think in the rookie class, I think that this is a slam dunk on that side from a value perspective.
Ooh, and what's crazy is let's just lightning bolt Quinshon Judkins to the Kansas City Chiefs. That would wreck the draft. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1A Janty, 1B Hampton, 1C Henderson. Shuffle them how you like. Quinshon Judkins, let's just say in this exercise, he would shift up big time and it would jam in towards that 108 to what you're saying. One point I do like to make about the 201, I really love the 201 pick or the early second round picks because my mindset is up to about pick 15, there's area and opportunity for your league mates to make mistakes, and you get such a falling value for the player who should be a first round pick. So even though I love those early second round picks, I got to be all about the Hall on the Breece Hall side. Breece Hall, he is the dent for the Microsoft. Big Daddy dropped the can in the aisle. Breece Hall is a dip right now. He's a depressed asset. We talk about it all the time. In Dynasty, you will have opportunities, be it injury, ebbs and flows of situation for players, where you have entry points that are more manageable and palatable. And everybody loves you when you're pretty and done up, all the makeup first thing in the morning. But as the day wears on, how much do you love that person? Well, Breece Hall, it's a little bit wear and tear, but he's still a fantastic asset. So I think you have to go with the Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall with the 25-108. This is a way you get off and finesse the 101 getting out. So if you can get this Hall, absolutely go for it. Next up, we have smash it. Yep, absolutely. Superflex 1.5 tight end premium, PPR, start 9, Dynasty. Which side? This one's very close. It garnered 54 to 46%. Gibbs and Odunze or Justin Jefferson. So you got a hammer running back in Gibbs. I know you love Odunze for Justin Jefferson. What do you got on this, Chev?
Oh, I'm in the minority here, boys. I'm in the minority here. Give me Gibbs and Odunze all day long, twice on Sunday. I can't express enough about how just one, Odunze, second in unrealized air yards, 730 yards, only 100 yards less than Marvin Harrison, but he's drastically undervalued from a dynasty perspective because he didn't dominate in target share. He was never going to hit in year one. He wasn't supposed to. He can't beat out a professional like Keenan Allen. Let's not stand on ceremony here. Odunze is still hashtag one of them ones. Then on top of that, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, who averaged 30 points a game from weeks 15 to 18. If we get some old man injury woes to David Montgomery, we're looking at another like Jamal Charles level breakout that just completely breaks the game of fantasy. Like CJ2K in his 2,500 yard from scrimmage season. Like that's what we're looking at here. So for me, I want to add the upside. Now, granted, Justin Jefferson is a blue chip stock, a blue chip asset. He's 25. He's entering into his prime. He averages the most yards per game of any wide receiver in the history of the NFL. So that's a really tough asset to let go. 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns with less than elite quarterback play. You can say that Sam Darnold had whatever. I'm not a Sam Darnold guy, as you are probably figuring out in real time, audience.
Oh, yeah.
27 turnover worthy plays. I mean, a broken clock is right twice in the day, and that's what he had. That's what Justin Jefferson had to deal with. We saw him melt down. So give me Gibbs and Odunze. Odunze, the role still looks sort of nebulous because we don't know if he's going to play the slot. You know, Ben Johnson said that he and DJ Moore will play the slot or he'll play the big boy outside wide. But he had 917 unrealized air yards. He was 10th in deep targets. He was 11th in deep targets, 10th in red zone targets with 18. So everything's alluding to him being a massive buy in 2025. And I want to be early to that party because I believe after this season, he will be inacquirable.
If you're not early, you're late. You got to get on the Odunze train. His ADP is spiked up on Underdog. In Dynasty, in this trade scenario, you have a buying opportunity. And you said nebulous. It almost sounds like a cloud, cumulus, nebulous. But the situation we have for Gibbs and Jefferson 1-to-1, you can make an argument that they could trade value hammer running back for hammer wide receiver 1-for-1, and it wouldn't be the craziest argument. I think you would get a little more leeway on the Justin Jefferson side. So I think that's why there's a package deal here. But the 40 burger that's out there, 1-for-1 with David Montgomery in there, Justin Jefferson has some of that edge. And I personally love J.J. McCarthy this year to steer the ship very well with Justin Jefferson. But give me I'll take more of that chance on that Gibbs and that Odunze side. I'm on the if you're not early, you're late train with Rome Odunze. So I'm going to go Gibbs, Rome Odunze over Justin Jefferson. The one cop-out answer would be if you're in a portfolio setting, 7-3 or 6-4, you spread out your portfolio, making this trade 10 times. That way, exposure-wise, you're a lot safer. Now, we need to hear from the Podfather.
Hey, what if I told you there was a Dynasty app where you could get player lifetime values, evaluate trades, including draft picks out to 2028, compare the advanced metrics of two players, look up the sentiment, buy, sell, hold on players? Well, there is a mobile app that has all of that and more called the Dynasty Dominator, and it's $5 in the App Store on Google Play. This is my gift to you, the most affordable Dynasty League domination app available today. And if you already have it, the 2025 class is ready to download. Let's go.
There you have it. And you're going to have the draft kit, which is coming. And in June, it's going to be phenomenal. We got a great team going. I kind of think of the movie Heat, where De Niro and rest in peace, Val Kilmer, they put it all together and they go and, hey, the bank is worth the risk. You know, I need it, brother, as Val Kilmer would say. So go out and get that draft kit when it's out, because we've got a team assembled a lot like the movie Heat. You know, personally, I'm working on that and getting that going. So very proud of everybody who's been putting in that work. Now we have Chev Paulo, Superflex Dynasty, 1-for-1 in a vacuum. This one garnered very heavy 1-for-1 interest. Jaden Daniels and then Jamar Chase plus a sprinkled in 25-second. What side do you like?
I had to go into the council of the silence ones to really, really think about this trade here, because you're giving up the youngest Triple Crown winner in the history of the NFL, the 100-some-odd year history at this point of the NFL.
Yes.
But you're also doing it for a Konami code quarterback. Jaden Daniels rushed for almost 900 yards and 6 touchdowns as a rookie. And I don't think we've touched the surface of what he could be as a passer yet. They added Deebo Samuel. They added Laramie Tunsil, $100 million left tackle. So I've really been in deep thought in the quantum of Chevis, and I returned, and I've got to go with Jaden Daniels here.
Hey, in a startup recently, 101, Jaden Daniels. I think it's the one that we're in, Chev. I took Jaden Daniels 101 over Josh Allen. That's really the position you have to take with Lamar going third. If you're not early, you're late. I've been early on Daniels, was all over his entry points, price points in best ball, dynasty, redraft, you name it. I was in all those leagues with your home leagues. Like, man, Jared took this guy. Big on Jaden Daniels. To your point, Jamar Chase, he's right there. But if you slide the scale, look at your dynasty startups and just see value. What's happening? These are super flex leagues. Jaden Daniels clears Jamar Chase. It's not by a wide margin, so that's where this 25-second would be okay. But the cheapest time to get your quarterbacks in dynasty in a startup. After that, good luck, aside from the picks that you can maneuver and finesse. And of course, there are ebbs and flows, but usually you're dealing with quarterback for a quarterback. People don't just want to give up quarterback cross-positional somewhere else unless they have insane depth because of QB hoarding. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. All his rushing metrics, 1s, 2s, and 3s on the player profiler site. And the beauty is Jaden Daniels is a thrower, elite dart thrower first. And then he's an incredible rusher. And you really just have to run with this success. You know, how do you get a stud player like Josh Allen on your roster? It's that entry point early. So rookie season, you got him. And this year, you're paying up. Otherwise, train's leaving the station. You're going to have more opportunities to have Jamar Chase, law of large numbers, based on where you are in the draft, because 101, it's going to end up being Jaden Daniels. Next up, we have Evan Ingram in a 25 pick 104 for Trey McBride. This is tight end premium. I love me some Trey McBride. Chev, how are you feeling? Denver Broncos, Evan Ingram,
Joker roll,
and that 104. We can play around with who we want to slot in that 104 for this exercise. We're 1 week away from the NFL draft, and then it's grip and rip on these rookie drafts. It's no more mock. It's an actual live rookie draft. So pick right now with Evan Ingram for McBride, and then let's play around with some players.
I mean, this right here. So this is Evan Ingram and Travion Henderson, or Evan Ingram and Tyler Warren. It is tight end premium here. So this is Evan Ingram and let's say Tyler Warren for Trey McBride. I've got to go with Trey McBride here.
Yes.
I've got to go with Trey McBride here. One, he's one of the – he and Brock Bowers are the two tight ends that could go nuclear and convert you in from a tight end position to a middling wide receiver one position, an extra middling wide receiver one in your lineup. Now, Trey McBride, 100 plus catches, 1,100 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but he finishes with 4 because he had a rushing touchdown and a fumble recovery. They count no matter how you like to slice it. 4 touchdowns. Let's say that goes to 8 or 9.
Yes, 10. 10.
I mean,
we're the trade gods.
We can get crazy. We can throw whatever number we want, and it become. And Trey McBride is almost bona fide, like certified to be the tight end 1. And we're having those discussions about him being in the first round of a tight end premium startup, and paying a king's ransom to acquire him. So yes, I'm going with Trey McBride here, even though that could be Evan Ingram and Travion Henderson or Tyler Warren or Tet McMillan, whatever you wanted to put right there. I'm taking the certainty of Trey McBride and the fact that a positive touchdown regression means that he becomes a middling wide receiver 1 in your tight end slot.
Oh, beautiful. That is just sexually good and just wonderful for my ears. Trey McBride. It's funny when you selected Trey McBride, I'm looking up at thank you God, but I remember we're the trade gods. So we provide that goodness. We want Trey McBride in this exercise though. Evan Ingram, the 104, Travion Henderson. People will visualize, let's say it's Travion Henderson to the Denver Broncos. Travion Henderson, who has visited with the Bengals. Travion Henderson as a Jahmyr Gibbs. I could see some people buying into seeing Henderson as the hammer a la Gibbs with Evan Ingram, to where they're like, hey, you know what? The drop from McBride to Ingram, they'll take. It's no guarantee right now with the 104 prior to, but this could solidify and shift a little bit different way towards if it's Henderson and Ingram over McBride. I personally take McBride because I'm with you on the train of the regression is going to hit for double-digit touchdowns for Trey McBride. And even if the targets come down by scoring on those touchdowns, remember, it's 7 points bare minimum because you got the reception and you have the 6 points for the touchdown. Granted, there's added yardage in there. I'm going Trey McBride. And the one thing you did put out, you said Evan Ingram and maybe Tyler Warren. In this situation, would you go for Evan Ingram and Tyler Warren, or do you think that you don't want to double up on the tight ends?
I mean, if it's a start 2 tight end, I mean, it's start 10, so it's unlikely to be 2 tight ends. It could be though. We don't have that information, but I would still go with the upside of Trey McBride. Just for Mr. Plummer here. It's a 2 quarterback league. Cam Ward's going 102 or 103 in most leagues, so that might bump Amarion Hampton down slightly a little bit. But the tight end premium, that's enough of a tight end premium per reception to make it to where 100 catches is worth so much more in my lineup. So yes, I will still take Trey McBride here.
And I guess on the other side, the Ingram and the person who has the 104 has plenty more assets outstanding to where if they're offering Ingram and that 25 first round pick for Trey McBride, they've got built assets elsewhere. Chev, can you speak before we head out tonight? Can you speak to the benefit of making sure your team has enough depth if you're going to up tier to somebody like Trey McBride based on having that 104 and the Evan Ingram? How deep do you have to be? Do you have to be a middling contender at least?
I mean, you've got to be a guy that's a piece or two away. If you're going to ship the 104 and Evan Ingram away, you could see that Sanders. Hold on, let's answer this question real quick. Yeah, Sanders is more in that 101 in almost every mock that I've done. Sanders is 106 or later. So just to answer that question real quick. But yeah, this is a move that you make if you are a bona fide contender. That's my thought process here. Now, if you're going to be a middling team, this isn't going to necessarily move the needle per se enough for you to not re-roll with a guy like a Travion or a Marion or Tet or whoever falls there. So I don't feel like it. Or you could just, you can go acquire a piece. This is what you're doing here to put yourself in to add another piece to the infinity gauntlet to get you to the mountaintop so that you can be blessed by the trade gods.
Hey, there we have it. Trade Gods episode 1. Love you, Chev. It's been a great time. We will see you next week.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.